from PRX.
Hey everybody, this episode is part personal essay, part story thing, and it does have some references to personal stuff, like including my mom's journey over the Rainbow Bridge to Big Farm in the Sky. And while I'll be really sleepy and stuff, just in case that kind of stuff sticks out to you, you probably want to skip it, but otherwise, here we go. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the podcaster whose beard has been shorn. It wasn't actually a beard, it was shorn stubble. Why is that important? Well, just in case my, they don't call that grizzled, do they? It kind of, how come they don't call it, if you look grizzled, that means you're in a state of wearing something grizzled? No. You know what they say? They say you look grizzled. I mean, they may not say it to you, luckily, but haggard is another one I've heard before. Scoots, where are you, a time traveler from 1820? Is that when they use those words, grizzled, haggard? This is a podcast that tries to help you, so even if you time traveled, you'd be well rested, and they'd say, wow. You, like, normally if you're well rested, they can't put a finger. They say, you look great. Wow, there's something, there's a pep in your step. Again, Scoots, are you going to the 1950s ad agencies now with a pep in your step? Put a pep in your step with peppermint. Yeah, I went back and they said, that's not a customer of ours. That's just a thing. I mean, maybe peppermint's an invented thing, too. I don't know. Maybe the good thing I don't know much about. Oh, boy. But believe it or not, this is the beginning of a sleep podcast. Did I even say friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? I'm glad you're here. This is a podcast to be your friend in the deep, dark night, to keep you company while you fall asleep. I'm here to bore you off into dreamland, or bore you so you don't have to think about going off into dreamland, but also to keep you company and take your mind off stuff. So if you're new, I'm glad you're here. If you're a regular listener, I'm so glad you're here and back. There's something about something about you. You're the opposite of haggard and grizzled. You've been de-grizzled. Have you been de-haggard? Unhaggard. I guess it would be unhaggard, de-grizzled and unhaggard. The podcast that de-grizzles and unhaggards, and no, a pep in the step's a little bit too much. What would you say if it like a pre-pep, puts a pre-pep in your step? No, that doesn't work. Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to Sleep With Me. What we got coming up is support, so paying for the show's optional. Then a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then we'll have a bedtime story based on an idea I had that I never followed through on. Or actually an idea I was following through on, and then I chose to work on this podcast and keep it going. So it came out, it's been on my mind. So anyway, I'm glad you're here, and I appreciate you coming by. Here's a couple ways we're able to help you fall asleep, but it's really other listeners that support the show directly, support these sponsors, or take the time to share about the podcast. And I'm forever grateful to all of you that do that because, when times get tough, I know you're there doing it for me, so I really appreciate it. And that way we can help everybody out there fall asleep. So I thanks so much. And yeah, here's a couple ways we get to do this for you twice a week. Sleep With Me podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states. All right, everybody, it is time to talk about tonight's sponsor, and it's the bed I've been sleeping in year after year after. You've been hearing me talk about Helix mattresses for years. Here's a question. Have you taken the Helix quiz? Okay, we'll take it right now. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep and take the Helix Sleep Quiz, because you deserve a mattress made for you and how you sleep, your feel preferences. What do you need, right? Did your mattress ever ask you that? And I can say that because my mattress is right in the other room. It says, yeah, Scoots, actually, before we even met, I asked you, hey, do you sleep on your side? Do you sleep on your stomach? Do you sleep hot? Do you sleep cold? What firmness do you like? What else do I need to know? Talk about the foundations of a relationship that lasts a long time. You know, you could tell your mattress, tell it right now, you're in bed, right? Say, I got needs. I need you to meet my needs. And it's something that's going to improve your sleep, improve your days, improve how your body feels. Because when you have a mattress that's right for you, it makes your life better. It's a simple thing. That's what Helix has been all about. That's why we've been partnering with Helix year after year after year. But more importantly, every single night, I'm in my Helix bed. So it's time for your mattress to start caring about you and your needs, right? So how do you do that? Well, Helix has got your needs in mind, too. Go to helixsleep.com/sleep for early access to their Memorial Day sale. That's 27% off site-wide, plus a free bedding bundle. That includes a sheet set and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. This offer is exclusive for listeners of Sleep With Me. That's helixsleep.com/sleep. For this exclusive early access offer, 27% off site-wide plus a free bedding bundle. It's a sheet set and mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order. And again, that's helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, Scoots here. And if this podcast has helped you, if Sleep With Me helps you, it's helped you fall asleep. It's helped you feel less alone. It's helped you get through tough times. You're not alone, right? The show, there's a community behind the show. It's kind of a quiet, resting community. But if Sleep With Me makes your life better, if it's a regular part of your life, if you have preferences about Sleep With Me, you have opinions about Sleep With Me, you fall asleep fast, you listen all night long, you listen to older episodes, you listen for years, you love the show, you're a super listener. And we need your support, right? If you're willing and able to support the show, or you're willing to overcome those, whatever the objections to put it off, we need you, right? Out of the 20,000 people that the show benefits the most every single episode, we need you and about 1,500 people to support the show back. But just you, really. It's going to come down to, I don't know if I'm going to have to ask 1,500 different ways, but I'm willing to do that because I care about making the show. I care about the people who can't afford to support the show. I also care about the people who refuse to support the show, that send me tough-worded messages, because they're taking action, and I just need some more people to take action to support the show based on how you value it. So if you'd be willing to support the show, sign up at Sleep With Me Plus at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. You'll get ad-free episodes, early episodes, exclusive episodes, story only. Sleep With Me Plus is built on how super listeners listen to the show. But you'll also be helping thousands and thousands of other super listeners and hundreds of thousands of other people. People who need some comfort in the deep, dark night, just like you did when you found the show. If it works for you on an ongoing basis, if it's a part of your life. And you could sign up for a 7-day trial. You could always cancel during the trial. You could cancel as soon as you stop listening to the show. As soon as it stops making your life better, cancel your support. But we can't do it the other way, right? If we don't get there in July, it'll be different. And you could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And that's something really to be proud of. Because like I said, there's 20,000 people that regularly consume every single episode, sometimes some of those people more than once. And we just need you and some of the other people that are actually hearing me and saying, yeah. So you should be proud. So go ahead and do it. sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Oh, Mystery Bard. A lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Carl W. the Legend. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Eric and the team let us down. They're on the way. kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. You can support Dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcript.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget, if you're looking for access to Sleep With Me Plus, to access to ad-free episodes, but you're not in a financial position to support the show, you can earn those for free by referring people to free podcasts at our referral program, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer. If you're like, yeah, I can't afford to support the show, but I really want some of that sweet, sweet bonus content on Sleep With Me Plus, sign up for our referral program and send me an email. Thanks, everybody. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it the bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you can set aside whatever's keeping you awake. That could be thoughts on your mind, things you're thinking about, thoughts about the past, the present, the future, thinking thoughts. It could be feelings, any feelings related to those thoughts or feelings that are just there, feelings that are coming up, whatever it is, feelings. It could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be going through something, getting over something. You work a different work schedule, traveling, maybe you have guests. Whatever it is, I'm really glad you're here. I really hope I can help you with whatever it is that's keeping you awake. The only reason I run through some of that stuff is so you know you're not alone, that you know that there's other people out there in the deep, dark night that get it. And I'm not really here to put you to sleep or to teach you how to fall asleep. I'm here to keep you company and be your friend in the deep, dark night while you fall asleep. And the only reason I'm qualified to do that, the reason I'm qualified to do it is because I have trouble getting to the point, and I'm a natural rambler, and I have a bit of a mixed up brain. But the reason I choose to do this and that I care about it so much is because I've been there. Trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep, trouble waking up early. Last night it was the first two. And then it was the third, but then I wanted to sleep later than I normally did. But my brain said, no, it's time to get up at the normal time. And I said, all right, yeah, I guess that's something oh, man. So, and that's the mild versions, right? I know what it feels like when you really want to sleep, you really need the sleep to make your life more manageable, and you can't get it. And I want to help with that if I can, mostly to take your mind off of it so you could fall asleep or so that it doesn't feel so heavy and pressure-laden. And also so you feel like someone out there understands what you're going through and that it's unpleasant and that it matters to somebody else. Because the fact is it does matter to me. And you might say, well, you don't, and I say, well, I've been through something similar and I know how it feels for me. So I think I can feel how it feels for you. But the thing is, there's a lot of other people listening across the globe. So there's someone else out there right now who can also relate to where you are and who's been through something very similar. And they discovered the show, became a regular listener, and they said, man, I didn't know there was something out there like this. I hope it helps you like it helped me. And I'm really glad you're here. That's what that listener is thinking about you. Because they go, man, I know what it's, that was something like what I go through, and I know what it's like, and yeah, or I'm going through it, or I've been through it. And so they hope, like, man, I hope if this podcast helps you, like it helped me, then maybe one day you'll be thinking of the new listener and welcoming them in and getting those good feelings that person's getting right now, right? Yeah, I know. I see you making space for the new listener. And it's nice to be a part of something indirect without a lot of pressure, where we have an understanding. We share something that we can't quite describe. So that's why one of the reasons that I do this. The other reason is you deserve a bedtime where you could get the rest you need so your life is more manageable, so that a bedtime you don't have to dread, like as I'm starting to right now, and a bedtime you don't have to start dreading, like when the weekend starts, you're already thinking about Sunday. You deserve a bedtime you could look forward to or at least feel neutral about, right? And say, well, at least I got that dude rambling on and on and on about nothing to keep me company. He's kind of a goofball, and that's a nice option. Or at least you're like, well, it's Scoots. This is like, I like an honor for me, where most people would maybe be offended or take it as, but you say, Scoots, he's better than nothing, man. Oh boy, that Sleep With Me podcast. This is like a rave review of Sleep With Me. Oh boy, 5 stars. It's better than nothing. And all the other stuff I tried and spent thousands of dollars on too. But oh boy, it's almost better than nothing. Sleep With Me podcast, shooting for the stars. I don't know. You'll get it if you get it. If you don't, that's okay too. But because this podcast isn't for everybody, right? And I have a website set up in case it's not for you. It's sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. Like if this podcast isn't for you, that's totally cool. I mean, it's just not for everybody, right? It's an acquired taste of people that are looking for something a little bit different. A boyfriend that's silly and it's better than a roommate because I don't live, I have no. You don't have to say, did you clean that up? Nope, was never. I just sent a podcast. Did you leave any crumbs? No, digital podcast or whatever. I don't know if it's a digital podcast, but I like to say that. It's been years since I said it's the old digital podcast, no crumbs included. So it takes some getting used to. So you could check out sleepwithmepodcast.com. But most people, it takes 2 or 3 tries to get used to the show. That's what regular listeners, like super fans, say. Like 2 weeks don't go by where I don't hear from someone that's paying like their money to support the show. And they say, oh, yeah, I checked out the podcast 5 years ago. And I was like, this guy is I have strong negative feelings about this guy. And then I said, I talked to my aunt or my cousin or, somebody, and they said, are you sure about that? And then I tried it again 3 or 4 years later on this next phase of my life. And, wow, I didn't realize that you were serious when you said whatever you said earlier. Sleep With Me is always going nowhere, never gets started. That when you said better than nothing, you meant it with conviction. Most people, when they say better than nothing, they mean it with conviction in another way. Yeah, you say, I don't know what else is a pot where you say, well, it's better than nothing. I mean, usually it's something, at least for me, my internal Nana says to me, like, you're not appreciating this, even though it's better than nothing. Like coal would be an example, like for the holiday season. Well, at least you got coal. It actually has a practical use. And you could play with it. Don't play with it in my house, though, because it's real coal. It's not fake coal. Okay, great. Coal. It's better than nothing. You need to learn to appreciate things. And I'd say, yeah, Nana, I get that coal's a lot better than nothing. And it has practical use. I did ask for whatever the toy was. Could have got a sweater. Yeah, coal's better than a sweater. You're right about that. Okay, so most people don't like it. Or when you get here, you're probably not going to like the show. You're probably going to be skeptical or doubtful. And it just takes some time to get used to. See how it goes. What I do here is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. So I go off topic, I get mixed up, then I forget what I was talking about, then I repeat myself, and, I run around in a bunch of circles. That's pointless meanders and superfluous tangents. And my voice is not traditionally soothing. It's creaky, dulcet tones. So that's one thing. This is also a podcast that you kind of just barely listen to. So it's kind of like something you put on as background noise, or that you're like, well, what's this show about? Well, it's about stamp collecting and the history of stamp collecting. All right, perfect. I'm going to put it on and like if someone tells you that during the day, that it's their favorite thing, and they say, please check it out. You say, sure, I'll check it out at bedtime. No offense. I'm just making a metaphor. And you say, wow, this is in-depth coverage about adhesives, this one. And it's 2 hours long. Maybe I'll put it on while I get, I'm getting comfortable here. It's also soothing, the way they're talking about it. So the podcast is a bit like that, but it's more to slightly engage you until you become disengaged. It's also not here to put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. There is no pressure to fall asleep with this show. I'm going to be here over an hour, so you don't got to worry about falling asleep. You don't got to say, well, what about at 30 minutes? What if I'm not asleep then? I'm here to keep you company in case you can't sleep at all. Like for the people that can't sleep, or the people that need a break during the day, or that wake up multiple times. I'm here to the very end to keep you and them company and take your mind off stuff, even if you can't sleep at all, or if you sleep right through it. Because my job is to be your bore friend, your bore sib, your bore bae, your bore bud, your neighbor, your bore bestie, your bore bee, your boreman, your what is that, Boris Borloff, your best bore friend forever. Really, like I'm on call to keep you company and to just give you something barely amusing to listen to so you could fall asleep. So that's a couple of things that don't work for people or take some getting used to. My personality, my style and structure of the show, the fact that you kind of barely listen, but it's not here to put you to sleep. The other thing that throws people off is the structure of the show. Because once you become a listener to Sleep With Me on a regular basis, then you kind of start to develop preferences. But most people are, they listen in a way like where they just listen to these ad-supported versions linearly, like as they come out. And then there's a more, then there's listeners that have preferences, right? And I do my best to make the show work for everybody. So the show starts off with a greeting, right? Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And then I say something silly so you feel like, okay, I could check that show out. Doesn't seem too bad. Seems like it's better than nothing, so I'll check it out. Then there's support, so the paying for the podcast is optional. Some people just prefer to listen to an ad, majority of people prefer to listen to something free and ad-supported. If you prefer something ad-free or more customizable, you could get that at Sleep With Me Plus. Then there's a long meandering intro after the support that is not part of the support. It's a show within a show. We're like you're 15, 18 minutes into it now, where I try to explain what the podcast is, but I go on and on and on, and I do it in a similar way every time, but it's different every time. And the purpose that serves is to ease you into bedtime, so you can listen while you're getting ready for bed, while you're in bed, you're getting comfortable, or doing some other chill activity. Like kind of just see as you develop a bedtime routine, Sleep With Me, and the intro can be a part of your wind down routine. Because that's just what's been shown to work and works for me personally. So the intro is not like a sponsor part or it's just like a 20-minute hangout with rambles. And a couple percentage of people fall asleep during the intro, but most people enjoy it or barely enjoy it. Right, but barely enjoy it. This podcast is better than nothing. It's barely enjoyable. So they're kind of enjoying it or they're kind of listening. If you want something without intros, you can get that at Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me. That's just stories. Or on Sleep With Me Plus, there's like all different versions of the show. But the intro is meant to ease you into bedtime or be like a buffer. Then there's support, and then there'll be our bedtime story. And it'll be kind of like this movie pitch idea, describing some characters. It'll be really a lot of tangents. And a lot of me trying to remember stuff and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's why I make the show, to help you out. If you've been in a place like I've been in, I love being able to help somebody else that hurts like I do or has hurt like I do. And because I believe you need that rest so your life is more manageable. So that's why I make the show. Believe it or not, it's actually a lot of work to make the show. There's more than me behind this podcast. There's a lot of other people who work hard on it to make it sound like free and easy or whatever, but I'm really glad you're here. I work hard, so do a bunch of other people, because we yearn and strive to help you fall asleep. So thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do it for you regularly, twice a week. Thanks. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and you might be the only one hearing this message right now and listening to me, and that's why I need your attention. If you're the one person hearing me, you know, you're the reason the podcast exists here in the deep, dark night. Unless you're new, then this probably isn't the best message for you. Or you're like, yeah, I've only been listening for a couple weeks, and I'm almost done with exams, or my guest is about to leave, or my travel for work's about to end. If that's the case, don't worry about it either. Like, the podcast exists for you too, but it really exists with the community of people that the podcast is a part of their life on a regular, ongoing basis, whose support we need back. So we're trying to get, well, I guess it doesn't really matter the number because it's just me and you here. And it's really the truth. I've been doing this a long time. And it really comes down, because here's the thing. If this message is getting through to you, if it's not getting through to you, it means it's not getting through to anybody else either. But if you're nodding your head, you're saying, yeah, this podcast makes my life better. Yeah, I want it to be here 6 months from now so I can listen to it and other people can listen to it. Yeah, actually, it's more than made my life better. I remember what it was like not to be able to sleep. And yeah, I listen on an ongoing basis. I would love some of that sweet bonus content. And yeah, either I could afford to support the show at a level where I feel comfortable and I feel like, yeah, that's the kind of value it brings to me. Or yeah, I could cancel that streaming service I don't even use. I use Sleep With Me 10 times more than that streaming service, and I pay more for it. You know, what am I doing? If you're nodding your head to all that stuff, the biggest challenge is you got to go to sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus right now, unfortunately, and interrupt your sleep. You could set up the bonus content tomorrow, but you might be the only one. And it's only like, the thing is, if I get through to you, then I have hope to get that 1,400 plus other people to support the show as well. But if you put it off, if you're like, no, somebody else will do it. Nah, I don't feel like it. Nah, I've been there. But that means, so I got to figure this out, and I love making this show. I'm not giving up on this, right? I want to keep making the podcast and bringing comfort. More people than ever need this podcast right now. And that's when it gets the toughest to make the show. And we were able to do this. We're just trying to get back to where we were in 2020, in 2021. We got there before in a tough time. So, yeah, we could use your support. If the podcast makes your life better on a regular basis, do not wait. Sign up at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. All right, everybody, Scoots here. This is a part 2. I don't know if this will be how many parts this will be, but the first part of this episode was recorded a while ago. And it's like years in Sleep With Me's terms, which is like 10 months probably. I don't know. I don't have in front of me the date I recorded it. but it was definitely recorded before the summer of 2024, the late spring of 2024. And if you follow the show closely, if you're new, don't worry about it. But, my mom made a journey over the Rainbow Bridge, the big farm in the sky. And so I recorded this before it, which is interesting because we're going to get into the story pitch. I don't know, like a lot of things that sleep with me. We tend to handle stuff that's archetypal or common and relatable in sleepy ways. And this will be another idea about it. But the first episode, we kind of covered inspiration from the movie Bottoms, and where the kind of genesis of the story came from before we got to the story, and kind of a dream team to make a movie with. And I don't share that. I mean, obviously it's like a dream, but it's also like to kind of help put some pictures in your head. I have alternate cast ideas too. But we're going to go with this lead, which is Rachel Sennett. And imagine Emma Seligman is directing and kind of rewrite, whatever, putting some magic on the story. But we're going to jump back to the story pitch, to start, and I may have pitched this story before, but it has a very real grounded, and it's just kind of interesting after my new life experiences I had a wonderful opportunity to grow through. But this pitch starts back, as I kind of talked about in the first episode, with Scoots, who was on the outs, on the outs in the sense I was out there. I wasn't really truly living my life. I was kind of waiting for my life to come to me and self-medicating and escaping. And but there was stuff out there that was just starting to pull. For me, it's always been I'm a slow learner. And so, but this was a part of my slow learning phase. But also, when you talk about the history of episodes and stuff, this was when I was a protector of stone fruit, which is an older episode of Sleep With Me, and I had a job protecting stone fruit from flying friends that are visiting in the state of California. And actually, I wasn't even protecting the stone fruit. I was part of the system protecting it by monitoring the stone fruit. And so this job involved a lot of driving. Had a small pickup truck. Maybe if you're in California, you see these small pickup trucks. They have a big water tank on the back, a plastic one. And I would drive that around Oakland all day long. And all it had was a radio. Now, at some point, it's like... and this was like an early smartphone era. So at some point I did get my first smartphone, which was a Palm One. And even then it was kind of difficult to use it because it was like, I don't even think it was a 3G era. I don't know what came before 3G, but the early days of like podcasts and streaming non-radio stuff, so at some point I was able to do that, like listen to what I kind of wanted to listen to, at least sporadically. But at this particular time, I was just listening to the radio. And you can't, like, this was already after the consolidation of radio here in the U.S. So listening to music on the radio was, you couldn't do that because we were working 10-hour days. So you couldn't listen to music on the radio for 10 hours. You just couldn't, or I couldn't do it. So that meant NPR or I couldn't really do talk radio. Sometimes, I guess they think I had already burned myself out of sports talk radio with another driving job. And before that, I burned myself out of talk radio. So you would kind of, and you talk about this with your coworkers, like as far as like something narrative to listen to or people talking, that was like your only option. And you kind of had some good spots during the day, right? Fresh Air was on. Then there'd be other shows where it would depend on the guests and stuff like that. But yeah, so some of your day was built around the distraction of a Science Friday. Holy moly! If we didn't usually work on Fridays, but if we did, we were happy about it. But so whatever, I was listening to a lot of NPR or public radio, not just NPR, public radio. My apologies. And so at one point, now this is really important because between segments on NPR or public radio shows, particularly, they'll have a music bumper, right? Or music playing between the two segments or whatever. Or music playing when they don't have anything to run, like some sort of update or what do they call them, underwriting or whatever. So I can almost picture where I was, though now it's become a place that, like a dream place that, it was on a street in Oakland or near, and I think near the Oakland and Berkeley border. No, within, probably a few miles. No, yeah. And it was a street that, I'm pretty sure was going east-west. And it was more not downtown Oakland, but still some density where it wasn't a suburban type street. And so I remember I was sitting in my truck, either doing paperwork. We had a lot of paperwork to do in between stops, or thinking my next stop. And one segment ended, and the bumper music they played was a marching band playing, I believe it's Edgar Winter, the Edgar Winter song, Frankie, dedicated to Dr. Frankenstein. I guess I can say Frankenstein, but yeah, that song. Now, that's a song that Fish covers, so it's a song I'm very familiar with. And it's a pretty good song. It's an instrumental-only song in all of its things. And it was only a segment of it, but it's a very distinct song. Once you get to know it, you know it when you hear it. And it's a cool song. You should check it out. And I was like, this is so cool. Like this marching band playing Frankenstein. Just for a few seconds, it put a smile on my face. But it made me think of my father, right? So I guess as far as the story pitch goes, the only important part of that, other than making a sleep podcast, is that I heard a marching band playing the Edgar Winter song, Frankenstein, and I thought of my father. And I thought, man, he would like this. And the reason I thought of my father is that he's big into marching band music. He was in a marching band. He was in bands. He grew up in the Bronx. I'll have to ask him more right now because I don't really know. I don't remember much, but I know he was in the band. I don't know if they call them marching bands because I'm not. I don't have the talent or the. I never could follow through, so I was never in any kind of band. I mean, I was temporarily in a band playing bass, but that didn't last because I didn't have a bass of my own. I didn't have an amp, and I didn't have, even when I tried to practice. Anyway, not important. Let's not make it about me. But my dad, he likes listening to marching band music, not all the time, but anytime I've, over the past, 25 years, especially with digital music, been what do you listen to? Or, let me see what music you got. It's marching band, I don't know, drum major music. I don't know what you call it. But in this particular situation, marching band is key. Marching band music. So I picture my dad. Hey, I really like marching band music, right? Now, this was before I had the podcast or anything like that, but I'm always someone, my mind is just imagining a lot of the time. And so I started this imaginary thread right there in the moment, thinking of my dad and then imagining, what if my dad said to me, and not in writing, which is also key, hey, when I make that journey to the big farm in the sky, I want a marching band, at my services. Just so you know, like, this, my mom did not make any requests, so none of these were filled because she would have said, that sounds really loud and annoying. That's nice for your father. Do it, make sure. So now it's possible. But so I imagine that, right? Like, this is just imagining, not quite like making a story, which is a little bit different. But then I imagined, okay, so he's gone. He only told this to me. So I check, like with imaginary siblings or whatever archetypal versions of my siblings. And I said, well, we're on a call or whatever in this imagination zone. And I say, hey, you know what Dad told me is he wants a marching band at his services. And then imagining everyone else on planet Earth, including my siblings, being like, what is the, no. There's no way. One, I mean, maybe he would, but no. No, this is not possible. And so that's just like one of the things I was I was just imagining it, like almost like a thought experiment, I guess. Oh, that would be interesting. And I guess it kind of ended there. Maybe I delved more into like, oh, this is an interesting story or something, but I kind of forgot about it. And I don't know what the time that elapsed was, probably not that much. But I remember, like, again, I talked about this in the first episode. So then I was trying to do stuff, and I started taking community college classes. I was taking this narrative script writing class at Berkeley City College with Joey Zanders. And any project that gets made based on that doesn't need to get I don't have to share anything with them, but that class was where the idea came up in. Even though this isn't a movie, so this is just a sleep podcast, but that's where the idea started. So then at some point when I signed up for this narrative, this class, I'm pretty sure it was NS1, the Joey, the teacher, she said, so you're going to have to come up with an idea in a pitch, and you're going to have to pitch the class on a story you want to kind of break for this class. And I was like a lot older than most of the people in the class. There were a few people within my age range, and then a few people that were like college age, and then people kind of in between. Don't know if there's anybody older than me, but maybe 1 or 2 years older, people that I knew, got to know. But so I guess I learned from past mistakes, like not to try to come up with too good an idea. I don't know how else to describe it, but like even in college or took another like short story class, I guess in search of the perfect idea, I guess, that would impress your teacher, your classmates, and I don't know, but also I was like, holy cow, what idea am I going to come up with? And I thought about the other stuff I tried to write or like the other story ideas I came up with, and also the pain of just trying to come up with too witty or perfect an idea kind of led me, I don't know, it was another place I got really lucky in the sense that however it played out, which I don't really remember, it didn't play out in some well-adjusted way where I was like, let's not come up with the perfect idea. I don't know exactly what happened, but it mostly happened by accident or whatever you want to call it, synchronicity. It was not me in charge. The story swamp was in charge. But at some point, because of the deadline pressure and the fact that we had to come up with the idea, I was like, what about that idea you had in the truck about the marching band? And at some point, that became an idea where, I guess I probably wrote it out before the day we were supposed to present it. Because by the time I presented it, I kind of talked about it, and I'll present it as the start of where our story begins, right? Though we do have, the second character, we don't have cast yet. So, and I'm trying to think of with Rachel Sennett as our lead, Sennett, not in the Senate, not Senator Rachel Sennett, but as our imaginary lead. We do have to recontextualize some stuff, but whatever. And also, I definitely have... for our third character, I know exactly who would be perfect for it. So, here's the thing. So, where are we? So, okay. So I had to pitch this idea. So now I'm going to pitch it to you just like I did without, I don't think I pitched the second idea, the second story part, yet, but maybe I did. I don't know, but I'll try to pitch you, and then we'll try to work on who's this other character now. But okay, well, how do we remember the characters' names? I remember the other character's name. Man, I don't remember the main character's name. I'm trying to think of a good name because it's going to be important. I wish I knew. So we'll have to think of that because I'm on the spot. I mean, because I don't want to put a temporary name on it. If the name pops in my head, I'll go with it. That's good. Let's say good for now. Okay. So, well, okay. Let me let's go with like where I think the story's at now too. I think before the beginning credits run now, like where the story's at now, will be a trailer. And it'll be confusing because it'll be a cold open of this trailer. Now, the trailer is not for a movie, but it's like a movie level quality trailer. In the trailer, you see, and it's this, by the way, inspired by something else. This is inspired by the movie Scrooged. And if you remember pretty early in the movie Scrooged, or maybe it's the cold open of Scrooged, I don't think it is. There's a trailer for the Christmas Carol they're doing, and it kind of shows like times are tough, tougher than when Scrooge was around even, and that's why we need Scrooge. So this trailer will have like somewhat of that tone, not quite as dimming of the lights tone, but it'll start to show like that in the world of unpredictability and chaos and stuff, that's like, but don't worry, there's a place. And then I'll start to show this very idyllic setting, which is a setting for, at least at this time, Big Farm in the Sky PI season 2 happens in this imaginary place. Like it was a place I already had designed. It's based on a real place. So this trailer will show like adults over 55 and in this idyllic setting, happy, doing activities, enjoying community, and living their lives in a very idyllic way in a fantasy land. And then it'll say the towns, whatever. I don't have it written, but, your piece of paradise or whatever. In towns has an E on the end, the towns, and it's in Florida. And that's where G and DK moved in for season 2. So we've already spent some time in the towns, but there'll be a trailer for the towns, just setting it. Then things will switch, and we'll see Good. And she will be, and this just changed a couple times, but in the most recent writing, which was 7 or 8 years ago, I think, again, just influenced by stuff I consumed, she's at a bar. In this version, it's like a bar, like a ski bar, like a bar for the local skiers and all the employees of the ski resort. This never comes up again, but Good is there, and Good is like holding court, fairly intoxicated, not destroyed, just like enough intoxicated to be lively, and Good is holding court, whatever it is at a bar, like standing on the bar, leading people in song, or judging some sort of most ridiculous onesie outfit, or, finishing up. I don't know. I think karaoke's probably past. But Good is holding court, and everyone is enthralled. And Good is the star of the show. and having a good time. Like most, the key is like, wow, this is a person I want to be, man. And that's a life. Well, I mean, well, I guess I'd say that's a lifestyle I would aspire to have that I actually tried and could never attain, but idealized, right? Okay, then we're going to set aside the sibling stuff for now, other than the fact that one of this Good has a sibling. In this current version of the story, it's a sister. And we'll get into the sister at some point because it is kind of part of the beginning of the movie. But this is just a long, drawn-out story pitch right now, which I should have just pitched the story part. But I don't know. This is the beginning of the movie. Like already, it all came from the story swamp to me. Again, I didn't make the beginning of the movie. I had trouble like with the parts that I had to search the story swamp for. And that's why we're coming back to this. Okay, so Good is holding court. Then Good's phone starts buzzing, and it's the sister and their sister, and whatever the situation is, Good says, hold on. And she has enough sway that either bar quiets down or she just answers, and she could just hear it. Maybe like, and her sister said, what, what? Hold on, like what's so important? And this is the important part. The sister says, you got, like, it's Dad. What about Dad? Well, didn't you get the other message? Like, why didn't you follow up? Like some long simmering tension. But the sister wants to get to the point. It says, okay, well, it doesn't matter. You got to get home now. Like, I already booked you a flight. Like, your flight leaves like this. You got to get to the airport. Well, why? Like, do you want to see Dad? Like, this is your chance to see Dad. He wants to see you. So just don't miss the flight. It's the last flight to Florida tonight. Just get here and I'll pick you up at the airport. The sister's also like stern and irritated. And Good, is like, we see a break in we see something between her and the sister, but also her and her father, but also like some potential, right? Even though the fog is there, like a brief break, and then in a brief, a split second opening of a real person, a real heroine, but then quickly that closes, right? And Good goes back to the thing and says, but it says, hey, whatever, festivities have to close early. Been called to more important things. Then maybe we see a montage but we get to the airport, and we see Good, going through the airport or whatever. Not totally, like, at this part of the movie, we want to see, okay, why are they even showing us? This is so, ideally, I would want to, briefly, especially for movie people, or people that feel like, why are we seeing, this is so dumb. Like, who cares that they're at the airport? And they're somewhat responsible. Like, it's not, maybe there's some cracks, but it's not like Good has successfully gotten to the airport. Maybe a little bit later, whatever. Like those, whatever. Those are details. But Good gets through the airport, gets through security, right? And then there's relief. Like most of us, it's like, okay. Good checks aboard. And it says up there, flight, whatever, to Florida, delayed. But not canceled. Like, it's delayed, like, whatever. So, all right, my flight's delayed. Then the next thing is, like, the airport bar. And again, this movie isn't about this. It's, like, just about the character. So, I don't know. I mean, just because I'm making it, it's not really about this issue. I mean, I guess it could be, but I don't know if it needs to be. But so Good goes to the airport bar. Now, you could even make it so that you can see the gate from the airport bar. And Good goes in, And I feel like this needs to take place at a table or whatever. And maybe the bar is somewhat busy, not at the bar itself. Maybe like a corner booth. But and this, again, is like a detail that we could work out. But there's another woman in the bar, not the same age as Good, more... Originally, it was someone much older, but now I feel like it's someone my age that looks much younger than me, though, obviously, because it just says if we're going to dream big, right? Now, you would recognize her as a movie star and a star of shows, Natasha Leone, but to Good, she's just another woman in a bar. But she says, like it's packed or whatever, and Good's like... She's, says there's an open seat here or whatever, like in a cool way, like just like, hey, like why don't you sit down? You look like, and not without words, And Good sits down, and whatever the woman, Ruth is her name. She calls over the waitress or waiter or whatever and says, hey, what do you need? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Make it 2 of those. And she even knows. She says, what are you, on that flight to Florida? And Good says, yeah. Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, well, we got time for a couple. And then they kind of make small talk. But what's important about the small talk is, like, don't know if Ruth needs to learn I don't know. Again, let's not quibble with the details. But they instantly like one another, right? And you slightly see that they're not opposites or anything. This is just like that they're almost like the same person at different phases or like from 2 different realities. Not that this isn't, they're not. I mean, originally when it was like that, this is a person, they're very similar, I guess, and they get along great, even in this brief thing. Whatever we do to show that, in whatever details, like I got caught up in that and kind of lost my way. And like I was coming up with a witty idea, trying to come up with 2 witty ideas of how to show that. But the key is to show that they like one another and they really get along. Then we see them, and maybe the flight gets delayed one more time, not important, but this next part is important. They go to their gate with enough time to make the flight. And Ruth is flying first class, and so, something happens where either Ruth gets on the flight, and Good's walking her to the gate or whatever, but Ruth either gets on, I think Ruth gets on the flight early. I thought other ways to do it. Or maybe they're sitting there and they call first class. But at some point, Good also says something. Good's now, they're both feeling it, right? So they're kind of yucking it up. And Good says something to the gate agent, which is just taken the wrong way, like slight. It just taken as a slight, like, oh, wow, like you think you're better than me kind of thing. But it's like they're just goofing. And it's not intentional, but it's also something you say, well, if you were a little bit better behaved, thinking of other people, like you wouldn't have been goofing when this person is trying to do their job. Whatever it is, I'll carry her down the threshold, but no, you're in C64 and she's in first class or whatever it is. So then, most importantly, the gate agent is kind of staring after Good as she goes and sits down. Maybe there's like a lull in the boarding period, or maybe it's just that, like, literally Good has like is in the very last boarding group. But she kind of sits a little bit further away from the thing because of the tension. And Good falls asleep. And this is, again, not about me, but if you ever drank too much on a regular basis, you fell asleep at inopportune times. It's just a common thing. Even if you don't have a problem, it's a warm airport, you just say, So Good falls asleep, and the gate agent sees this and loads the flight, and then she like is like, yeah, last call for boarding, instead of saying it really loud, even though Good's the only person left, and maybe somebody else says something, and the agent says, oh no, that person's like, make the gulp symbol or whatever, but Good is sound asleep. And also, nice visual is that Good's phone's buzzing a couple different times, right? And maybe on the second or third time we see it, that it goes to voicemail, and like it says, you know, your sister's leaving a voicemail. I guess we could even go with like her sister in the voicemails, like Glinda or something, just as like a tribute to something popular. But I mean, it's true. Like people put stuff like that. Okay, so the sister leaves a voicemail. We also would see interspersed brief things with the sister, but I don't want to distract you at this point. But whatever. Good. At some point, Good wakes up in the airport, or is woken up. Not too important. Sees a voicemail, but doesn't listen to the voicemail, and is running around the airport like, hey, I missed my flight. I was there. Like, I don't know what happened. And is in like better behaved. So just like a person with their eyes wide who accidentally missed their flight. Like, maybe it's even, I don't know. Again, let's not quibble with the details, but Good is like, I got to get a flight to Florida right now. Like, can you get me on another airline or whatever? Like, no, like, can get you on the first flight tomorrow. It's 6 a.m. It's only, you know, it's really only in like 5 hours or whatever. You could just go back to sleep. So Good, basically, like, yeah, okay, we got you in the next flight. Don't worry, we'll be there like whatever, 7:30 a.m. Okay, I forgot one key piece of information and visual is that also while Good is passed out, like, I guess it'd be 3 calls. The sister, no answer. Like, no voicemail, no answer. Maybe even the sister again, and Good looks up and then puts the phone back down. It'd be even better if it said Glinda or whatever. But then it's the dad. Like, after it's positive, like, Good isn't checking the voicemails. Or this could be after the missed flight. It does, again, details... point is the dad calls, and it says dad or whatever the way, whatever. It says, I think dad, and we just see that Good, you know, just buzzes. Then the sister calls again and leaves a voicemail. And I think it all should happen, like, all this should happen before, all that should happen before Good realizes she's missed a flight. Then Good realizes she missed a flight. And then, like, after she gets her flight booked for the next day, her sister calls again. And her sister's just on full blast, using, as again, could be a PG-13 to R movie. But her sister's using a lot of strongly worded language. And Good is like, yeah, no, don't worry. I've been at the airport. The flight was canceled. And I'm on a flight. I had to get on this first flight tomorrow. And her sister's like, again, blah, 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 blah. And then, or whatever, because her sister basically says, well, it doesn't matter at this point when you come. So what do you mean it doesn't matter? So didn't you get my voicemail? No, I didn't. And then she says, well, Dad's gone. You missed your chance. Set your pride. You know, the sister really lays into her. And then Good obviously has a seat. And everything happened. Also, like, now we're like 3 hours out. So, like, the beginnings of a hangover, in addition to this news, and this sense of, whatever, this sense of, like, dread, and what would create internally, like, a need for relief from this feeling of, like, this was my fault. Like, this was I can't keep my promises or whatever it is. Okay, so then Good is sitting there. That hits her. Then she's looking at her phone, like mostly out of discomfort. Like when you look at your phone out of discomfort and you're kind of scrolling through, maybe like, oh man, my sister did call. But then she sees a call from her dad, and she sees a voicemail. Now, this is like a difficult, because the idea was like, 12 or 13 years ago. But Good listens to voicemail, and the dad, I guess it still works. Like the dad is not doing great. So the phone call's clear, but he's not clear. It could be as simple as coughing or stuff like that, but it's a very heartfelt message. The dad says, I love you. I was hoping to see you and say goodbye, but I really love you. I really care about you. I want you to take care of your sister. You need each other. And, like maybe a couple comments about their differences. But I also wanted to ask you for something good. Like, it would really mean a lot to me. I know your sister, wouldn't do this for me, but I really want a marching band at my funeral. Now, at some point, that's like, in the perfect world, this could be something we could brainstorm out of, but if it's not 100% certain, that would be ideal, right? However, the message is delivered, which I think it has. I think to like really give it a depth and weight, Good has to hear it, right? And believe it. And obviously, like having Rachel's son would be great because then we could see her face kind of change and how she interprets everything. But yeah, I kind of get this sense of like. Relief. Obviously there's going to be a whole range of emotions there, but the fact that now, typical storytelling, this was even on purpose, but this is the call to adventure. Everything else is like stuff under the water, but this is also like, not to over explain it, but now that we got the pitch down, right, is that's what she believes her father's last wish was for her. And that fulfilling that last wish will give her some sort of relief from everything that came with this, but also that she'll get some relief, like, and some peace from it. So then I guess the next time we talk about it, we'll go into the sister because it is an important character. But basically then... she flies home, or flies to Florida. Her sister picks her up. Her sister is now a little bit more subdued, and but also still not happy, or still making more subtle comments about her sister. And there's only two more important things, one of which now is grounded in reality, where before it was just a story thing. But the other thing is, Ruth will return. So it's like planning pretty early on, though, when we meet Ruth again, which we'll get into. But the last story part is like during this conversation, the older sister or the younger sister, the more mature sister is saying like this, and this. This, and this, like I've already taken care of most things, but it's going to be like a few weeks. And she says, what do you mean? How could that be? Like, I never even heard of that. And this is honestly what happened to us. So it's, but at first I was like, I guess it kind of makes sense. It's like, well, it's like, this is a retirement community. So yeah, there's, these things take time. But and this is like where this kind of comedy comes from, and it becomes something you can laugh at. But even at the time, we were laughing about it. Was that this summer, what happened was there was some sort of statewide challenge to their internet systems there for the parts of the state that provide all the paperwork you need to proceed in these matters. And I'm not kidding. I mean, you could read about it separately. I'm not going to get into the details. Like, we literally, we were just in a holding pattern because everything that had been done electronically now had to be done by hand, and it had to go to 3 different places in the state, I believe. And we were like everybody in the state, like the state where most, I'm presuming the most people, retired people are, which I think would mean, at least percentage wise, the most people that are transferring realms. And we couldn't get our realm, nobody could get the realm transfer papers in any kind of reasonable timeline. So it was like being in like one of these movies where it was like, it does even get more comedic. I'll just give you the comedy side. Believe me, I have help, and I'm not, this isn't like making light of anything. And if you're regular of the podcast, this is like, we were waiting. And even like, my family's similar to me. So it's like, well, should we call again and check? Well, they said, they would call us. Yeah, but the squeaky wheel gets grease. Okay, well, I'll call. And then trying to charm the person, just be like, okay, yeah, it sounds like you have a tough job. I mean, that's what I did. And I said, okay, so you just no idea at all. Any kind of estimate, maybe, but no, like, they would only talk in the longest. They'd be like, at least the longest it could be, well, it would probably be this long. So what happened was my daughter had come to Florida to help out, and just because we had to, we had to drive a car up from Florida to New York. And my daughter was like, I can help with that at some point once we had all the realm papers. So one day, because we were in a holding pattern, and there's nothing to do, we were like, oh, we're going to go to, and I mean, again, this is just me and how I live my life. We're like, let's go to Busch Gardens and pass the day. And, like you can't sit around a condo all day, every day. And so, it was just like, it is funny. I mean, at least for me and my family. And I think my mom would be laugh about it. And she was probably behind it, like, because she was a Disney-only theme park person. My daughter and I, we bought tickets, and we start driving. Now, luckily, we hadn't gone far. Like, literally, we had gone out of, like, the development. This is north of Tampa Bay, like an hour northeast, or maybe just north, I don't know, but not on the water or anything. But so we started driving. We had left, like, the community, because I know we're right by a grocery store. And we got the call, paperwork completed. And so we turned around. So, like, in this story, that will happen because I think it's a key to the story. But it's also, like, real. Even at the time, I was operating by, like I said, well, it would take some time. And I think that is humorous view of that. So, yeah, basically, where we're leaving off now is the two sisters are driving to the towns. So in the next installment, we get to learn more about the sister, and we'll learn more about the towns and goods. And this is, again, based on reality. I've only been to the villages proper once, which is an inspiration for this, which is a really, really large retirement community in Florida. And there's YouTube videos about this. It has, like, it was built by similar, like, to Imagineers. So the town, and I think I talked about this in Big Farm in the Sky PI too, but the town has, like, a fictional history, like an Imagineered history, which, again, some people may, like, view it in all or nothing ways. I view it in like some all or nothing ways, but also like, I don't know, like a boggled way and a cool, I'm like, again, like similar to my love of schlock, stuff like this. That's like, you're like, really? I don't wholeheartedly endorse it. I love it, because it's like out there, man. And I was like, I remember like, going and looking at some of the plaques, and they had TV channels with hundreds of activities, and everyone was, oh no, I guess I've been there twice. But the other time, no one wanted to do anything. Even this time, my former mother-in-law, she would humor me because she liked to do stuff too. But I'd be like, can we go to the Sundown Band concert? Can we go to this place for happy hour? I mean, this is when I drank too. So it's like another motivation, but it was also like, can we go to this thing? Like, can we drive? I just wanted to drive around a lot too. So yeah, that's our setting. Who, what, where, when, and why. I guess maybe that's what we'll kick off the next episode with. But yeah, this is a little bit different a style of episode we've never done before. And I hope you enjoy it. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and you might think you're the only person listening right now, and you might be right. You might be the only person hearing me right now and paying attention, and that makes it very important. It makes you very important. I mean, I always treat the show like a one-listener show, right? I'm here to put you to sleep when I'm going through the show, when I'm trying to stay calm, when I put my regular day life aside to record these episodes. I'm thinking of you, the one person the show works for. But if you're hearing me right now, not only am I here for you, but I could use your help, really. We're asking 1,500 of our 20,000 super listeners. Those are people that listen all night long, people who fall asleep very fast, people that listen night after night after night, people who've listened for years, people whose lives the show has changed, and the podcast is an ongoing part of your life. Those are the people we're counting on right now to support the show. So it can be here in 3 months. So it can be here in 6 months. So it can be here in a year or two. And it is up to you, really. Like, so if you're going to put it off, if you're like, maybe somebody else will do it, think twice about doing that. I mean, not only that, like you get the best way to listen to the show, especially if you listen all night long. Ad-free episodes, story-only episodes, tons of other stuff. But you also get the feeling you're part of the show being here, existing in the world, because it only exists because the people say, hey, this helps me. How can I help it back? This is a valuable part of my life. And when you do that, when you support the show, just at the value, whatever tier or whatever you decide works for you, it supports the show for all those other people. Think about that. All we need is 1,500 of the 20,000 people who benefit the most from the show to support the show back. And then 18,000 plus people who benefit the most, and hundreds of thousands of people who just need the podcast for a few weeks or a few months. People who are suffering in the deep, dark night will benefit because you say, I just want to give back for what the show brought me. And then it gets multiplied. But here's the thing. I can't keep doing it beyond July. If we don't get the support, I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I need to get that message through to you if you're listening and you're hearing me. Don't put this off. If you already say, yeah, the podcast makes my life better, of course I'm willing to support it and give back. Don't say, but maybe, I'm pretty comfortable right now. I know that's asking a lot, but you could do that at sleepingmapodcast.com/plus.